The images you're about to see were just released by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and they have shaken every corner of the astronomical world. For the first time in history, an interstellar object known as 3 Atlas has done something that no celestial body should ever be able to do. It brightened 4 times in just 6 minutes. To the untrained eye, it's simply a flicker of light in the darkness. But to those who understand what that means, it's as if the laws of physics blinked. NASA calls it a non-gravitational acceleration event, a term so carefully chosen it hides the terror of what it really implies. Because 3 Atlas isn't just moving, it's responding. It changes brightness as if reacting to observation, accelerates when no force should push it, and travels through the solar system as though following a path map long before we knew how to look up. And tonight, for the first time, we're going to unpack the data NASA tried to release quietly. The numbers, the readings, and the evidence that suggests 3 Atlas might not be a comet at all, but something infinitely stranger. On November 17, 2025, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory published what was supposed to be a routine report, just another entry in the endless archive of solar observation data. But within hours, researchers around the world realized that this one was different. According to NASA's own measurements, 3 Atlas brightened by a factor of 5 less days after it passed the sun. Yet there was no tail, no dust, no vapor. Space around it was perfectly clear. Even Japan's Subaru telescope confirmed the event, observing a faint green halo exactly matching NASA's time stamp. It wasn't an illusion. It wasn't software noise. It wasn't lens flare. It was real. Something massive in deep space had just flared with impossible speed. And when NASA cross-checked the acceleration data, the object wasn't slowing down from gravity as every comet should. It was speeding up. The Jet Propulsion Lab labeled the phenomenon non-gravitational propulsion. Those words sent shockwaves through the research community. If it wasn't being pulled, it was being pushed. But by what? There was no evidence of outgassing, no trace of chemical jets, and no loss of mass. The object moved as if guided by an invisible engine, smooth, silent, deliberate. Even the European Space Agency called it a phenomenon beyond current physical models. For the first time, NASA itself admitted the physics didn't add up. If 3 Atlas had been a random interstellar rock, its orbit should have been steep, chaotic, slicing through the solar system like a skipping stone. But it wasn't. The data showed an almost perfect alignment with the ecliptic plane, the same invisible path the planets follow. It glided beside them as though traveling down a cosmic highway. What's more, it passed within precise distances of Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, exactly where a spacecraft would go to perform gravity assist maneuvers. The odds of that happening by chance are 1 in 5 million. To veteran navigators at NASA, that pattern looked deliberate. The object wasn't drifting. It was navigating. Simulations confirmed that if Atlas had been a natural comet, its acceleration would require ejecting 13% of its total mass as gas. That's impossible, and the instruments showed no evidence of outflow. Instead, the acceleration was smooth, sustained, and directional, as though 2 separate forces were acting in harmony, one pulling inward toward the sun and another pushing tangentially along its orbit. It moved like something under control. Then came the spectral data, and it changed everything. NASA's infrared and X-ray scans detected unusually high concentrations of nickel, but almost no iron. That combination doesn't occur naturally. Both metals are forged together inside dying stars. Yet here was an object with one, but not the other, as if selectively engineered. And there was almost no water, less than 4% of what any comet should contain. That means 3 Atlas could not have formed in a frozen outer disk. It was born near heat, forged in fire. Its surface reflected blue light hotter than sunlight itself. And the polarization curve revealed negative reflection, light bouncing in directions no natural surface allows. Only human-made materials like polished alloys or specialized ceramics show this behavior. Whatever Atlas is, It's not ice and dust. It's something smooth, metallic, and enduring. NASA's temperature readings revealed another anomaly: thermal uniformity. Every natural object near the Sun develops hot and cold regions, but Atlas's surface stayed perfectly even, as if conducting heat through a metallic shell. That's the kind of design used in spacecraft to prevent stress and cracking. And just when scientists thought it couldn't get stranger, the object began to emit ultraviolet flashes. Brief rhythmic pulses repeating every 17 minutes, 3 times in a row, then stopping. The pattern wasn't random. The timing didn't match rotation. It was something else, a signal. The European Space Agency and Subaru telescope both confirmed the pulses, ruling out instrumental interference. And when researchers converted the sequence into radio frequencies, they found a shocking coincidence. The pulses matched the same intensity curve as the legendary WOW signal of 1977, to events nearly half a century apart from the same region of the galaxy, now linked by rhythm and light. Coincidence or correspondence? For decades, the WOW signal has haunted scientists. A 72-second radio burst detected near Sagittarius never repeated. Now, as 3I Atlas's pulses echoed that same mathematical ratio, a radical theory took shape. What if the 1977 transmission wasn't random static, but a greeting? And this object is the reply, a probe responding across generations, traveling at a pace no human could endure, finally arriving to deliver the second half of a cosmic message. NASA didn't confirm it, but they didn't deny it either. Their statement was simple: the synchronization is an anomaly of unknown origin. That's as close to an admission as the agency ever gives. For days, the pulses continued, flashing like a code of light against the black, then faded as though the object knew it had been seen. The timing, precision, and duration were too deliberate to be natural. If light can carry information across centuries, then perhaps what we just witnessed wasn't random data. It was acknowledgement. Then came something even more unthinkable. While 3 Atlas passed behind the Sun, solar observatories from Chile, Japan, and the Canary Islands detected a massive symmetrical structure glowing near the solar corona. At first, analysts dismissed it as radiation interference. But when 3 separate observatories recorded the same shape, identical in size, brightness, and trajectory, denial was no longer an option. The object was hundreds of miles wide, reflecting light evenly, and surviving temperatures that should vaporize any known element. Its trajectory matched 3I Atlas perfectly. For a brief moment, it appeared that 2 bodies were moving together, one visible, one hidden, before both vanished behind the Sun. NASA classified it as a non-standard solar phenomenon, but to many it looked like a mother structure, a larger vessel or field enveloping Atlas as it passed the Sun. A scenario that until now belonged only to science fiction. As Atlas disappeared from view, something equally strange began happening closer to home. Air traffic systems and satellites detected glowing rings and jellyfish-like orbs drifting silently above the oceans, pulsing with faint blue light. Each sighting coincided precisely with the period when 3I Atlas was behind the Sun. Meteorological stations captured them on radar, stationary, stable, and vanishing within minutes. No sonic booms, no contrails, no explanation. Some researchers began whispering a new hypothesis that the object had released smaller probes, autonomous fragments designed to observe or communicate. The rhythm of these aerial lights followed the same 17-minute interval as the earlier space pulses, the same pattern now echoing on Earth's doorstep. Governments didn't respond, observatories went silent. And by the time 3I Atlas re-emerged from behind the Sun weeks later, it was as if nothing had ever happened except for the data, the numbers, the undeniable proof that something extraordinary had unfolded.
When 3I Atlas returned to sensors, its light hadn't changed. Its temperature remained perfectly even. Its acceleration continued, steady, deliberate, defiant. The world space agencies, NASA, ESA, JAXA, and even private observatories began sharing data in an unprecedented alliance. For the first time, humanity wasn't just studying a comet. It was monitoring an intelligence. The mystery of 3E Atlas has turned science into something almost spiritual. A mirror forcing us to confront our own insignificance and our boundless curiosity. Whether it's a relic of an ancient civilization or a mechanism older than stars themselves, it now stands as proof that the universe still holds secrets beyond imagination. As the final lines of NASA's newly released data sink in, a strange stillness settles across every lab, observatory, and mission center on the planet. Scientists who have spent their entire lives defining the impossible now have to face the reality that the universe has just delivered something far more unsettling. Evidence that the impossible might be routine somewhere else. What began as a quiet release of technical numbers has transformed into a revelation. A revelation wrapped in ultraviolet pulses, metallic signatures, impossible acceleration, and paths so precise they feel intentional. For decades, humanity has stared into the sky and asked one question. Are we alone? Now, for the first time, the data whispers something back. Not an answer, but a challenge. A quiet dare to let go of certainty. A mathematical echo that says, look closer. Think bigger. Question everything. The brightest minds at NASA tried to contain the implications inside scientific language. Non-gravitational acceleration, thermal uniformity, spectral anomalies. But no matter how they phrase it, the truth remains the same. This object behaves unlike anything born of nature. No tail, no dust, no heat, no decay. It moves as if guided. It shines as if powered. It pulses as if speaking. And through it all, the same mathematical rhythm repeated again and again like a heartbeat traveling across the void. If this is coincidence, then reality has a sense of drama far beyond our imagination. Perhaps the most haunting part is not what the data shows, but what it suggests. Because if 3E Atlas is a machine, then it was built long before our species existed. It has drifted through eras older than every civilization we've ever studied. It has survived the death of stars, the collapse of galaxies, and the silence of interstellar darkness. And still, it functions, its systems intact, its purpose unchanged. That kind of endurance is not an accident. It is design. Design older than our pyramids, our languages, our histories. Design from minds that mastered physics long before we scraped fire from stone. And now, for reasons we may never understand, that ancient engineering has entered our solar system, gliding along our planetary plane, brightening and dimming as if aware of our attention. Maybe this isn't a message. Maybe it's a test. Or maybe it's something simpler. A reminder. A reminder that the universe is not empty, not silent, not waiting for us to catch up. It is alive with things older, wiser, and far more patient than we can comprehend. And as NASA's data spreads across the world, one quiet truth settles in. We may not be witnessing an object. We may be witnessing a civilization's last surviving artifact, a cosmic relic carrying knowledge. We're only beginning to notice. The glow, the pulses, the impossible stability. They might not be signals meant for us. They might be operations continuing long after their creators vanished. Machines don't mourn. Machines don't forget. Machines endure. So, as 3I Atlas continues its silent journey, accelerating through the solar system with elegance and purpose, it leaves us with a choice. We can fear the unknown, or we can learn from it. We can hide behind the safety of old theories, or we can begin writing new ones. Because whether this object is a probe, a relic, a messenger, or something we don't even have words for yet, it has already accomplished something extraordinary. It has forced humanity to look up again with curiosity, wonder, and humility. It has reminded us that the sky is not a ceiling. It is an open door. And beyond that door, the story of existence is far older and far stranger than we ever imagined. If this journey into the unknown left you questioning the universe, don't let this moment fade. Subscribe to the channel. We're only just beginning to uncover what NASA's data truly means. Turn on notifications because the next set of readings could change everything again, and you'll want to be the first to know. And tell us in the comments, what do you think 3I Atlas really is? A comet, a relic, a probe, or the last whisper of a civilization lost to time?